Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Straight Like That on KTSU2 The Voice. I am your host, Tremel Jeffers, aka the Cheesehead, and alongside of me is the best crew in town. I'm going to keep saying it every week. The best crew in town in Houston, Texas, Mr. Tyus McAfee and Mrs. Tyra Lockley.
Hey.
Hello. How y'all doing? It's your boy Tyus McAfee, host of the All Scoring No Defense podcast, where I make new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I just, work with them.
Wow. You don't sound too thrilled about that.
Oh, my God.
But we got a lot to talk about today, and it's April the 8th, 2021, and March Madness is finally over, and what a tournament it was for both the women's and the men's. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about both. So first, I'll start with the ladies. Ladies first. So let's talk about the women's national championship game. And you had Stanford versus Arizona, two Pac-12 teams who have seen each other twice in the regular season. Then they met again in the championship. And boy, was it a great matchup.
Man.
Boy, was it a great matchup. Stanford ended up winning the championship game 55-54 over Arizona, and it came down to the last possession. And if you rewind to the Final Four, Stanford played South Carolina, another number one seed, and that game ended in a one-possession game on the last shot. So their last two games ended on last shots where they were playing defense, and they were able to get the stops. But let's move on to that championship game where Arizona lost by one. They had the ball, 7 seconds left, and they didn't capitalize. Their star player, Ariana McDonald, she had the ball. She was double, triple teamed. I can't remember which one it was, but she had somebody that was right there on the corner. All the girl had to do was cut in the inside, and that was an easy layup. You win the championship game. But instead of cutting, she stood at the three-point line, and instead of Ari McDonald passing the basketball, she threw up a contested three. It almost went in, but that wasn't the smart decision. So it ended up hurting Arizona because she didn't make that pass, and now Stanford is your national champions on the women's side. But man, what a great championship! What a great tournament it was.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Man,
the fans got their money's worth.
And the funny thing is, going back in about probably early February, that's when I started watching women's college basketball a lot. And I always watch the Pac-12, so I'm real familiar with their conference because their games come on YouTube all the time. Yeah. So I always see the games live. So I've seen Stanford plenty of times. I've seen Arizona a couple times, Oregon State, all those teams in the Pac-12. And I thought that Stanford would probably win a national championship about 2 months ago. I knew they would have a chance. I thought that Uconn would probably do it, or Stanford. I thought that if they saw each other in the championship game, it was going to be a good one, but Uconn didn't get there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Arizona,
that was surprising.
Yeah, Arizona's the one that knocked Uconn off, so we didn't even get to see those two teams play. So we got a rematch of conference rivals, and like I said, what a matchup it was. Yep. Like the championship game, that's exactly what you want from a championship game.
Yep.
Back and forth. That's exactly what it was. 1 point game.
Coming down to the wire.
Everyone's
on their feet.
They did exactly what we thought Gonzaga and Baylor was going to do.
Exactly.
But obviously it was the opposite, so.
Exactly. But yeah, let's move on to the men's. And yeah, Baylor versus Gonzaga. Did any of you expect this?
No.
Did you expect Baylor to win 86-70?
It was over before it got started.
Yeah. Once it hit 9-0, I was like, ooh.
And Baylor, their players are long and athletic, man.
And that the way they played defense that day.
Man, they shut down.
The big problem though with Gonzaga was their turnovers. They turned the ball over a lot. And it wasn't even, most of the time Baylor wasn't even on them. They just ended up turning the ball over like randomly.
Unforced errors, yeah, exactly.
And then that's that really what cost the game. It was those turnovers and the fact that they just wasn't able to capitalize, off of like when they did like get block shots or, whatever, they'll just turn it over again. So it was really just a lot of errors on Gonzaga's end.
Exactly. And like I said, Baylor defeated Gonzaga 86-70, and they end up winning the championship game. And honestly, this kind of disappointed me because
Yeah.
I'm not a Gonzaga fan, but I love watching their team. I love Drew Timme. I love Jalen Suggs. I love Corey Kispert. They played, 33 games this year. They went 32-1. Out of those 33 games, I probably watched 20, a good 20. I love Gonzaga. I just want to see how many points they're going to score. How many points are they going to beat their opponent by? That's why I watch Gonzaga almost all the time. And it just hurt to see them lose their final game. They could have had an undefeated season. And they just had an uncharacteristic game. Even you rewind to the Final Four game against UCLA. I thought that was their worst game of the season. Yep. I thought they were going to bounce back. They would be focused, locked in against Baylor. But no. It was the same thing that they did against UCLA. Weren't getting stops. They didn't pull away from their opponents. They turned the ball over a couple times. They weren't rebounding. They were giving up offensive boards. That's exactly what happened in the national championship. This is why Gonzaga lost to Baylor. Baylor had 67 shots. Gonzaga only had 49.
Okay.
And why is that? Because they got out-rebounded. Baylor had 16 offensive rebounds. Gonzaga only had 5. And 8 of those offensive rebounds came from Mark Vital from Baylor. He had 8 offensive rebounds alone, just by himself. That's one reason why they lost this game.
Mini Rodman.
Yeah, they needed somebody out there.
But what's so surprising though with Gonzaga, for as good of an offensive team they are, they don't shoot a good 3-point percentage.
They don't. No,
like that's crazy.
No,
yeah, and I think that now if they could have knocked down threes against Baylor, I think that really would have helped them.
But the thing is, they weren't even getting looks.
They weren't coordinated enough.
They weren't even getting looks.
Yeah.
Baylor's defense was so good, they weren't even seeing open 3-point opportunities. And then also, you speak of the 3-point game. Baylor had 10 3-pointers made. Gonzaga only had 5. And then they were just outplayed. I think this is the most important one to me. I just think that Baylor's star players outplayed Gonzaga's star players. They showed up when it counted. Gonzaga's didn't. And sadly, I hate to say it, but Gonzaga's star players are overrated. All 3 of them. I hate to say it. I love Jalen Suggs. And I want Jalen Suggs to be a Detroit Piston. He's one of my favorite players in college basketball, but he's got to get a mid-range jump shot. He's got to improve his 3-point shot. So if you take him away from driving to the basket, he's limited.
So do you think the people that they play in their conference is the reason why people look at them the way that they do? Because if you see the way they played against Baylor, it looks like that they haven't played against anybody like that before. Or maybe they just could have been, off their game that day, which was unfortunate. But do you think because of the people that they play in their conference is the reason why people look at Gonzaga that way?
Now, okay, you look at their conference, they honestly don't have any threats in there. BYU's a decent team. Where were they in the tournament? I think a 9 seed. They made it to the 9th seed. They're a decent team, but other than that, everybody else is below average. So they're going to cruise through their conference, of course. But if you look at what they did in the preseason, they played some quality teams. They beat West Virginia. That was the only game that they won by single digits before beating UCLA in the Final Four. The rest of their games, they won by double digits. Who else did they play? I believe they saw Iowa. They beat Iowa. They beat them by 11. Who else did they play? They played five teams that were ranked in the top 25 early in the year. They beat all of them by double digits except for West Virginia. So they played some quality teams. And then even when you look at their tournament, they just demolished Creighton.
Yeah.
Creighton was a top 25 team. And then the next round against USC, they demolished them. So I thought after that USC game, they had the tournament wrapped up. I thought nobody would be able to compete with them, but that wasn't the case at all. Baylor showed why they could have been undefeated if they didn't have a COVID layoff back in February. So, yeah, I think that their conference is a walkthrough. It's a walk in the park. It's a cakewalk. But they did play some quality teams early in the year. But I just think they had a bad game, and a little bit has to do with them not seeing a defense like Baylor, because Baylor probably is the number 1 defense.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you a question real quick. Do you think Gonzaga will be back, or do you think they're going to suffer from a hangover?
It depends how the recruiting is going to be, because Drew Timme is going to be gone. He's going to the draft. Jalen Suggs is going to the draft, and Corey Kispert. your 3 top players are going to the draft. Now, if I'm not mistaken, their 6th man of the year, Nembhard, he might be back. Ayayi might be back. So they still have a couple talented guys. Okay. You know you're going to have transfers and just depends on the recruits that they pick up from high school.
Okay.
But I don't know. I can't answer that yet. Gotta wait. Give me till about October and I can have my decision. I got to see what talent they bring in and I can evaluate from there. But it's too early to tell right now for sure. But yeah, I didn't expect that to happen. Like I said, the Baylor star players, Teague, Davion Mitchell, Butler, they all showed up and they proved that Gonzaga stars are overrated.
Yep.
Corey Kisper,
they exposed them.
Yeah, they exposed him. They showed Corey Kisper. He's pretty much just a shooter. Yep. Take him away from the 3-point line. What else is he going to do? And I think that his draft stock is going to go down after that championship game. Not even just the championship game, even the Final Four.
Final Four, yeah.
He didn't look good against UCLA either. And then Drew Timme, I mean, he was already a second-round projection, but
I think that really hurt him.
Yeah, he's not able to keep up with athletic big men. Yep. So I don't know. I just think that Gonzaga's players were overrated. I mean, I didn't want to say – I knew they were overrated, but I didn't want to say it during the season because I'm such a fan of those guys. But
are they
gotta be
really
real.
Overrated or were they just not –
They were just outmatched.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Could they not be used to – because, they're used to what – like what they play in the preseason is obviously different, but what they're used to playing in their conference or in regular season, maybe they're just not used to – playing against those teams, so they just do it what they know. They just hasn't. Well, I know you're supposed to adapt to everything, but I just don't think that they actually, adapted to what Baylor had to offer. Like they weren't ready for it at all, obviously. So
I think it's a little bit of both. I just think their games are limited. Like Jalen Suggs, you take him away from driving to the basket. He doesn't throw up floaters. He doesn't have a mid range. And his 3-point shot is okay. It's not great. It's average.
But those are things that he can develop on the next level.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's why I think his potential is super high. He has a very high ceiling. But right now he's not.
He has some holes.
Yeah, he has some holes in his game. Drew Timme, he's not able to keep up with those athletic big men. He can't. If you have a guy who's hyper and who loves to grab offensive boards, Drew Timme, he can't do anything about it.
His lateral quickness isn't there.
Yeah, it's absent. Yeah, he's missing that. Yeah. And then Corey Kisper, he's a great 3-point shooter, but other than that, what else can he do? That's what I see from these guys. I could be wrong. Hopefully I am, but I really do see Jalen Suggs being a star in the NBA. I think he has a high ceiling. He's only 19.
I just hope he goes to the right team because too many times we have, I don't want to say this, too many times we have great talents, but their landing spots are bad. You know what I mean? And then hopefully he goes to the right situation where he gets an ownership group that'll actually surround him with quality talent. Because like you had mentioned with the Pistons have been bad for how long? Well, for real though,
this really like the first year we've been real bad. Well, the last 2 seasons. I mean, before that we were just mediocre.
Okay.
Yeah, we were average teams, but we have the talent. If he gets there, we have Jeremy Grant, we got Sadiq Bey, we got some good young players.
Yeah, that little rookie
y'all
got,
Yeah, we have some talent. That's not really a problem. It's just, are we going to draft the right guy? And I hope, hopefully it's one of those guards that come out the draft. But yeah, I do see Jalen Suggs being a great player in the league. He has a high ceiling, but the other 2 guys, Timme, he's going to be a role player, big man for some team. He's going to be a second-round pick. And then Kisper, I think he's just a 3-point shooter. He doesn't play defense like that. He's not a great defender. You can expose him on the defensive side. I think once he gets to the NBA, he won't be able to defend at a high level.
It all matters where you go, because in the right system, you can be a star. Because look at Draymond Green. Draymond Green was a second-round pick, and now so it all depends. Manu Ginobili, another one, second-round pick. So it just matters. The right system and the right scheme, you never know.
That's true. But yeah, it was a great March Madness. The women's, so many great games. You had Texas versus Maryland in the Elite Eight. That came down to the last shot. A 3-point game, 64-61. Texas beat them What else did you have? You had Uconn versus Baylor. Oh my,
Man.
that was probably the best game of the tournament, and it sucks that it ended on a no call.
Yeah,
it should have been a foul call. She clearly got smacked in the face. They didn't call it, and Baylor got robbed of a Final Four opportunity. And then for the men's, I think obviously hands down the best game was Gonzaga and UCLA.
Yeah. That shot.
Yeah.
And like they said on CBS, UCLA didn't lose that game. Gonzaga just won.
Yeah.
UCLA just ran out of time.
Yep.
It was a really good game.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to UCLA. They fought their butts off. I didn't
Shout
see
out
that
to
being a
USC,
close game at all.
My Trojans.
Yeah, they don't get a shout out. They didn't even compete. They don't get a shout out. They went outside. Evan Mobley, the Mobley brothers, they went outside. They didn't even compete. But shout out to UCLA. They came out, they competed. Everybody wrote them off. They were 15-point underdogs, and they lost on the last second shot. And honestly, they should have won the game. In regulation, 2 seconds left, they called a charge.
Yep.
That was a blocking foul. That was a blocking foul. And they gave them a charge, and that's how they went up. They went to overtime.
I honestly thought UCLA would have that game the way it was going.
The way it was going, yeah. It looked like UCLA was probably going to steal it.
Yeah.
And then Gonzaga went up 5 in overtime. It was like 30-some seconds left. I was like, yeah, this one's over. Then Juzang goes down, hits a 3. It's a 2-point game. Then Gonzaga misses a shot. UCLA gets the ball right back. They tie it up. 3 seconds left, and then Jalen Suggs, he hits that half-court shot. That was the best game of the tournament. It was so many good games, but that one right there, that put the nail in the coffin right there. That was the best.
I just want to know who had the perfect bracket.
Nobody.
Nobody. No one.
It was so many upsets. It was crazy.
Texas messed up brackets. Ohio State messed up brackets. Alabama messed up bracket. Illinois, Michigan, all of these teams messed up brackets. Yeah, nobody had a perfect bracket. Nobody.
But that's why we love March Madness.
Yeah,
you never know.
Never know. Any given day.
That's why you can't keep betting on those top 25 teams.
But that's what this March Madness was special for, because a lot of smaller schools got a lot of recognitions that normally wouldn't get recognitions in under regular conditions in the March Madness tournament.
Roberts? Never heard of them.
Never. See?
Never heard of them.
They were a good team. I just didn't expect them to beat Ohio State. And then they beat Florida, so they got 2 big wins. Yeah. So, yeah, this was a great March Madness. This is the first time I've watched every single game, literally every single game. I'm locked in, even the women's tournament. A lot of people talk down on women's basketball, but
women's college basketball is great.
It is great.
This is great.
It is great.
And it's only going to get better.
It's only getting better. Only getting better. So if you're not tuned in, you better get tuned in now because it's just improving year after year after year.
Them Uconn games, that's the only reason.
Exact. Baylor, Uconn, Louisville, Texas,
Mississippi,
Tennessee,
man, South Carolina, Stanford, Arizona. There's so many great teams out there for women's basketball. So if you're not paying attention to women's basketball, WNBA or college, you are missing out. Seriously, you need to tune in and just check it out. Give it a try because it is definitely worth the hype. I'm telling you, they can. They really can. But yeah, March Madness, I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Better than the All-Star game.
Man.
College basketball is killing the NBA right now for me.
Yeah.
Now just imagine if we had fans and all this.
Ooh, that's what I said. I said imagine the fans. Imagine the fans in that Gonzaga UCLA.
Man.
They probably would have stormed the court.
That was only, 10% capacity? Imagine 100%.
Oh.
It was special with limited fans, so imagine 100. That is crazy.
Roberts, Ohio State.
Man.
Oh my God.
I can't imagine. I can't even imagine. I can't wait till next year. We're going to get some more fans in. Hopefully it'll be full capacity. But it'll be more than 10%. So I'm real excited. But yeah, great March Madness. That recaps what March Madness was about. And I can't wait till next year. But now let's move on to the NFL. And we're going to talk about them adding a 17th game to the regular season. They added an extra game to the regular season for all 32 teams. And honestly, I hate it.
I do too.
I don't like it.
I hate it for various reasons. One, I hate change. The NFL has had 16 games for over the last 30 to 40 years, and it's been fine. Also, with this happening, precious records are going to be broken. Calvin Johnson, His all-time receiving record in the regular season is gonna be broken. The 1,964 yards, that's gonna be broken.
I wouldn't even count that, honestly.
Yeah, I don't count it. Yeah, I'm not gonna count it now because it,
No, because
it doesn't
it's
mean
been
anything.
so long,
Yeah,
so
it's not special anymore.
Exactly. If you couldn't do it
It's
in
not.
16 games, what makes you think you can try and float on 17?
Yes, it's not. It's less special now. Eric Dickerson's record is gonna be broken.
Somebody's gonna break that now.
Yep, the 2,105 rushing yards. Michael Strahan's sacks.
Yeah.
The 22 and a half sacks. Somebody's gonna break that. That's why I don't want this extra game, because now all we're gonna be hearing is, oh, so and so has the most yards in the NFL season. So and so just broke the record for this, but it's in 17 games.
16
Yeah,
games?
exactly.
Absolutely not.
But I will say I like it for this only because now the playoff race is gonna be so much tighter now, because now I think you're gonna play in division probably I think you might play them more than twice. I don't know for sure. But man, just imagine now when week 16 and 17, well 15 through 17, ooh, it's gonna be interesting.
So what they're doing is the extra added game, it's against a AFC opponent. So if you're an NFC team, like Green Bay, the NFC North, our division, we're playing the AFC West.
Okay.
And it goes on where you finished in the standings. So we finished first in our division. Kansas City finished first. So we play Kansas City.
That's the only game.
Yeah, exactly.
The only game I'm looking forward to, really.
The Raiders, they finished second in the division, and the Bears finished second.
So they're basically going based off what happened last.
Yeah, alpha last season in the standings and against that division.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be.
That's how they do it.
That's gonna be a game.
But yeah, and I guess the only positives that I see is players get paid just a little bit more off of the revenue and the TV deals. That's the only positive that I see from it. And then also some more negatives, injuries.
Yep.
More increase of injuries. It's a better chance of getting injured now. Some players might sit out and rest, like NBA players are doing now, since it's an extra added game. And then the preseason, honestly, I know a lot of people talk down on the preseason, but I think it's important. I think some of those games, at least 2 preseason games.
I think 2, yeah. I think you need at least 2.
They're only taking 1 away, but I still think that the preseason is important. You got to see how your backups are. You got to see what you're working with.
Your strengths and your weaknesses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you never know. You might have that one undrafted guy who is special, like Victor Cruz.
Yep.
You never know. You might have that Victor Cruz guy. So that's why I think the preseason is important. But I just wish they kept it the same. A lot of NFL players agree with me. Just keep it at 16 games.
There was no reason for the change.
Exactly.
Honestly.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But we got 17 games this year. Oh, another negative. Somebody's gonna have more home games.
Yep.
Some teams are gonna have 9 home games. Other teams are gonna have 8 home games.
Wow. So they have an advantage already
exactly.
without playoffs.
That can hurt you in the playoff runs. So let's say Green Bay is fighting for a playoff spot with Minnesota, I guess. They fighting with I'm just naming random teams. Let's say Green Bay has a better home record than Minnesota.
Yep.
They have more wins. Well, they have the same amount of wins, but they have a
higher advantage.
Yeah, they have a higher advantage because they had more home games.
Well, I know.
They have the same amount of wins, but they had more home wins because they had more home games.
I know my team ain't gonna be in the playoff race, so it don't
doesn't even affect you.
It don't even affect me.
That's just adding another game of misery for y'all, man.
Anyways,
it's okay.
But yeah, I see we all disagree. Yeah, we're all in agreement of 16 games.
I think if they do this, they might just probably do it for a year or 2, see how that works.
I hope so.
Like a little trial.
I hope so. I hope. But yeah, the NFL is extending it to 17 games, so we'll see how that goes.
I just really think that they should start listening to the players.
Yeah.
Like, players really make the entire league.
Exactly.
So if the players aren't in agreement with 17 games, they should have just kept it at the 16, because these are the we're watching them play, even though they're getting paid, but at the end of the day, this is their bodies and stuff that they're putting on the line. So a lot of them are getting old. So
right.
I just think that they should have took what they said into consideration.
If they do that, they need to add more guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Because with the NFL, you may get $1 million contract, but only $30 million of it is guaranteed. So yeah, And I believe, me personally, I believe football players should get paid more. I think football players should get paid more when it comes to like down to all the sports, because in football, your career is shorter because you're one tackle, one cut, one pop from it all being over.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I don't like it, but got to give it a try at least. So we'll see. Now let's move on to the NBA. And ESPN, they released their top 10 players under 25. Now they did this on potential.
Okay.
And their list was number 1, Luka.
Okay.
Number 2, Zion. Number 3, LaMelo.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Donovan Mitchell. Number 5, Jason Tatum. Number 6, De'Aaron Fox. Number 7, Ben Simmons. Number 8, Devin Booker. Number 9, Bam Adebayo. And number 10, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
LaMelo Ball should not be number 3 at all. Like, I think.
Why is that?
Only because, don't get me wrong, if LaMelo Ball had not have gotten hurt, I think he would win Rookie of the Year. But when you look at that list, it's several players that's been to the playoffs and had deep runs in the playoffs. Like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons should be higher on that list because Ben Simmons, had Kawhi Leonard not have gotten away with a travel and a shot, Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers, I think, would have won the finals. I think they would be Golden State, but that's neither here nor there. And then with Ben Simmons, he can't shoot, but he can do everything else. He can defend, he can rebound, he can score on the inside because he got that little push shot mastered. And then another player that I don't like his ranking on there, I don't like where Devin Booker is at. And with Devin Booker, I know a lot of the adulation goes to Chris Paul because, don't get me wrong, the Suns were terrible last year. But with Devin Booker, when you need a bucket, get that young brother the ball because he's averaging right now in this season, he's averaging about 26 on 50% shooting. So not only can he score with efficiency. And that's really what matters because it's one thing to score 40 points on 20 shots, but it's another thing to score 40 points on 40 shots. And over the last 4 seasons, Devin Booker has been averaging over 24 points. You know the only 2 players to do that? LeBron James and Kevin Durant. So, but look, with LaMelo Ball, I think that's clickbait. I think they knew what they were doing because whoever did that, they know LaMelo Ball shouldn't be. Now, don't get me wrong, because right now LaMelo Ball is averaging like a triple-double. I think he's at 19, 6, and 6. But nah, he's not. And then he shouldn't be, because he shouldn't be ranked ahead of Donovan Mitchell nor Jason Tatum. So.
Honestly, I didn't have a problem with the list. I mean, no. I didn't have a major problem with the list. I think some of those guys that are in their spots are in the right spots. Now, what I did have a problem with is Trae Young is not on the list. Like, are you kidding me? Okay. So the first person I took off the list was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Don't get me wrong, he's having a great year. Yeah. He can play, but no, I had to take him off the list. I put Trae Young at number 5, and my list kind of looks similar to ESPN's. This is my list. Number 1, Zion. I think he has the highest potential. They're going off of potential. Out of everybody on that list, Zion has the number 1 potential.
Okay.
Number 2, I have Luka. Honestly, I think Luka has reached his ceiling, but the guys that are below him, I don't think they will ever reach that ceiling that Luka is at right now.
Now, do you think Zion would develop a jump shot as cold as Luka's?
If he does,
man, if he do,
he's in the GOAT conversation. And I still have LaMelo at number 3, like ESPN. I think his potential is higher than everybody else's. I think Jason Tatum has almost reached his ceiling. He still has a little bit left to go, but he's close to his ceiling. Trae Young, he's close to his ceiling a little bit. Devin Booker, he's already reached his ceiling. He's been established already. Great player, he is, but I think these guys that are above him on my list have a higher ceiling. Then next is Donovan Mitchell. I think he still has a little bit left to go, but he's close to his ceiling. De'Aaron Fox, I think he can reach. He's not close to his ceiling yet, but he's improving every year. Yeah, once that jump shot develops, De'Aaron Fox will be up there. Ben Simmons, I think he's reached his ceiling already. He refuses to shoot the 3. He refuses to shoot jumpers. I don't think he's gonna improve anymore. I think he is who he is.
My only thing with that is, bro, if you can shoot a free throw, you can shoot a jump shot.
He can't even shoot free throws anymore. He's shooting under 50% since the All-Star break. Every time he's going 1 for 2, 0 for 2. He can't hit 2 for 2 anymore. So he lost it.
That's all. It's mental, Ben. Just don't think about it. I'm telling you, don't think about it. When you start thinking about it, that's when you start missing. Like Curry, I'm telling you, Curry came out like Curry Curry will shoot the ball from almost half court. He just let it go. And sometimes it look like he just be throwing the ball up there. Because his confidence, I'm telling you, it's all mental.
I get it. And then last, I got Bam Adebayo at 10. Just like ESPN had him at 9. I have him at 10. So I kind of agree with ESPN a little bit. I think I just had to mix it up a little bit. I had to switch Zion and Luka out. And then I had to add Trae Young in there, put him in the middle of the list somewhere. But yeah, I don't think it's too much wrong with it. As long as Trae Young is on the list, I'm cool with it. So that's my thoughts on it. Tyra, what you think about it? You think who you taking, Zion or Luka at the number one? Number one potential, Luka or Zion? I just want to hear your answer, Luka or Zion?
Okay, only because I've watched them both play, and obviously they're really good at what they do. But I'm gonna have to choose.
Just from the eye test.
No
stats,
I'm
nothing.
I'm just trying to see because I'm gonna say Zion.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm gonna say Zion.
Okay. So do y'all think Zion now, because we've seen Luka come through in the clutch. Do y'all think Zion gonna be able to do that?
No, because of his position, but I just think all around player, Zion is the better. Well, he will be the better player.
Now, I will say this for the Pelicans moving forward. Zion needs the ball late in games, not Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram is a great number 2. I don't think I think Zion should be the number 1 going forward. Because we've seen Brandon Ingram come up short too many times. So I really do believe in Zion right now. Like you mentioned, Zion is What's that jump shot? Man.
Best player in the league by far.
But when Luka gets going, it's kind of hard to stop him.
It is the same with Zion though. He's unguardable. You can't guard him at all. All he has to do is drive to the basket. You play him one-on-one, there's no stopping him. He just bullying Clint Capella. He's bullying Gobert. You can't put anybody on Zion. No. He's unstoppable.
Okay, another player that should be on that list. Where's Ja Morant? Ooh. See? Now the only thing with Ja Morant, he scares me, man. The way he just be jumping and
but he just got injured due to that.
Yeah, that's like, please, man, because I don't want another D Rose, bro. I don't. Please.
Ja Moran, he's talented. But I think he just misses out on the list. There's just too many talented players that's under 25 on this list. But yeah, we had a great episode today. Talked about March Madness. Sadly, it's gone. I'm going to miss March Madness. I can't wait till March 2022. Then we discussed the NFL adding an extra game. Now we have 17 games to watch in the regular season. And then we went over the ESPN's top 10 under 25 list. So we'll see how the future goes. We're going to come back next week. We're going to have more topics to discuss. So stay tuned next week. This is Straight Like That on KTSU 2, The Voice.